to the Nürburgring. The sun is shining, we've got wonderful blue skies, and we've got fans here, as you can see, and the drivers are all just waving to them, and we're all excited that finally fans are here. And with me is Nico Müller in pole position. So Nico, you guys were just waving to the fans. How does it feel to have fans here?
Yeah, very, very good. I mean, that's what we do this sport for, you know, to share it with passionate people who love motorsports, and to share that on site is much better than only delivering the show, you know, to the TVs at home. So very, very grateful that there, you know, is allowance to have some people here on site. I mean, we would love to have even more, but we're going into the right direction again, and it feels good, you know, to share the passion here.
It's a beginning. And for you, the season is going so super well. You're starting in pole position again. You're the leader of the championship. So how's your feeling for the race today?
So far, all good. I mean, we've had a good Friday, you know, fine-tuning the car for today. And in qualifying, I was very happy with how the car felt. Now we'll see in the race. You know, it's always a completely different discipline, really, because tire management will be key, and the long-run pace will make the difference in the end. DRS has, again, a big effect, so when you're leading and you don't have DRS, the guys behind, you know, they can normally put you under big pressure, so we will have to see how lap 1 pays out, where we are after that, and then take it from there.
All right, thank you so much, Nico. And now, here's your commentator.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. Welcome along, everybody, then, to the Nürburgring. Chris Hartley here, trackside, to talk you through what is going to be the midway point race of the season, because this is round 9 of 18 coming up, and it's our first of 4 races here at the Nürburgring, because we're back here next weekend also using the traditional sprint shorter version of the circuit that the DTM normally runs on. But this time we're on the Grand Prix circuit this weekend, the full circuit, which has never been used by the DTM in its current format. Last time DTM used the full Grand Prix circuit was back in the year 2001, and the year after that the circuit was altered and extended. So it's a new venture. It gives us some terrifically quick corners out in the middle of the lap. And we've had some spectacular onboard footage throughout the free practice and qualifying sessions, in particular through the Schumacher S's, which has taken close to flat out in these DTM cars, which can hit top speeds of over 300 kilometres an hour. So Nico Müller on pole position, also the championship leader. But as he says, as the race leader, you're the only one that doesn't get to use DRS in the races. And that reduction in the angle of the rear wing can make a big difference around this circuit, which has got a couple of long straights. And 0.4 seconds, the difference that will make. So that's going to make life a little bit harder for Nico. Robert Hag there, the former Mercedes team boss, in conversation with Timo Glock to the left of your picture. Timo, who's looking pretty good here in the free practice sessions. Nico Müller, though, with a storming lap in the pole position run this morning in qualifying to get an advantage of over 0.2 of a second over René Rast. And second in the championship, Robin Freins is going to be near the front of the grid as well. He's going to be lining up third. And the Dutchman, fresh off the back of his race win at Assen, is down on the grid speaking to Verena.
And this young man is in P3, Robin Freins, and you're second in the championship. Also, we've got halftime in the championship. So at this point, it's all about collecting as many points as you can. What are you going to do to get all the way to the front?
Well, I think it's going to be difficult. Nico's been very quick the whole weekend, and then René is always there. So important is to get a good start, hopefully to keep my position first of all, maybe I can gain one, and then see how the race develops. In the race runs in FP1 we were okay. So I'm quite confident in the race, but it's a bit hotter now, so everything can change again.
And just quickly, the atmosphere here with the fans, the sunshine, how are you enjoying that?
Well, it's pretty much the first time it's actually quite hot in Nürburgring when I'm here. I'm here a lot. It's only 1.5 hours away from my house, but it's really good to see that we have fans here again. It's sold out as far as I understood, so it's really good that the fans can cheer us on, and hopefully we can bring up a good show.
All right, thank you so much, Robin. And yeah, indeed, I mean, we've seen everything here, rain, even snow, so let's hope it stays this way. Back to you.
I think so for once, Verena. I think it is going to stay dry because the forecast, and I don't think I've ever seen this when I've been to the Nürburgring before, is that there is a 0% chance of rain today and a 0% chance of rain tomorrow. It's here in the Eifel Mountains. Normally it's pretty unpredictable in terms of the weather. It can be beautiful one moment and hailstorms the next, but it is absolutely a wonderful autumn day here with the temperature reaching around about 23 degrees, a gentle breeze. It's absolutely perfect race conditions. So the top three we know about. Marco Wittmann is fourth on the grid, and then we've got Mike Rockenfeller, who races for the local team, Team Phoenix, who are based just outside of the circuit, is fifth. Sheldon van der Linde has moved up to sixth place because Ferdinand Habsburg has been deducted 5 places on the grid due to contact and blocking of Loic de Waal, which we saw in the qualifying session this morning. So Habsburg's dropped down to 11th place. Jonathan Aberdeen is another one that's had a grid penalty. He actually qualified 13th, but he's going to be at the back of the grid, Jonathan Aberdeen, because of some work that had to be done to the car under parc fermé conditions. We saw Jonathan pushing hard on his second qualifying run and actually getting the fastest first sector time of anybody before he ran out wide. So those are the key changes to the grid. Marco Wittmann, though, is looking pretty strong here this weekend. He's fourth. He almost matched the time of Robin Freins, and it's his best qualifying performance of the season so far. He's down on the grid speaking with Verena.
Starting in fourth position, we've got Marco Wittmann. Marco, your best BMW, and you've got 3 Audis ahead of you, so surely it's going to be a tough race. And also, how challenging is the Grand Prix version of the Nürburgring?
Well, actually, first of all, the track is really cool. I really like the longer version. The GP layout is actually a bit more fun than the short version, I have to admit, especially going down to the Dunlop corner and then going up the hill into the Michael Schumacher. It's pretty cool with those cars, I have to say. I mean, generally, it was the best qualifying so far for me this season, P4, so not too bad. But still, the gap is quite big to the Audis on a single lap time. Let's hope that in the race pace we seem to be slightly stronger. If we can fight against them, I don't know, I cannot answer you this. At least we're going to try it, and let's hope for a good race.
I'm sure you're going to push really hard. Thank you so much, Marco. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Yes, he's fourth, but he's right, there is a gap. Well, there wasn't single lap pace. 1 minute 46.8 seconds for Nico Müller. That's almost matched the biggest gap that we've had in a qualifying session so far between two drivers. Normally just a few thousandths of a second. René Rast did a 1:47 dead, and then Freins and Wittmann, who start on the second row of the grid, 1:47.4s for both of them. Rockenfeller 1:47.5, van der Linde 1:47.6, and Jamie Green, who was one of the race winners here last year, has been bumped up to 7th place on the grid now, also with a 1:47.6. Loic de Waal, Philippe Eng and Lucas Auer on his birthday weekend are also going to start the race in the top 10. So high hopes for Marco Wittmann that he can perhaps push for a podium finish here and match the results, or better it, that he got earlier in the season at the Lausitzring. He's been a winner here before at this circuit, but albeit around the sprint version of the track. Marco Wittmann won here back in 2016 and in 2014 as well, over 2 seasons in which he won the DTM Drivers' Championship title. So after the points that were awarded for qualifying, the top 3 scoring points in the qualifying session this morning, Nico Müller has got 167 points. Robin Freins is second on 139, so 28 points between them. There's 25 points available for a race win. It's an FIA Championship scoring system, so it's down to a point for 10th. And then you've got René Rast third on 122 points. He's 45 points adrift now of Nico Müller, with Loic de Waal 71 points in 4th place, but a bit further back on the grid in 8th. Timo Glock is the highest placed BMW driver in the championship coming into this race on 62 points. He's in 5th place. And Sheldon van der Linde, who was one of the race winners last weekend at Assen and scoring a historic first ever victory for a South African in the DTM. He has moved up to 6th place in the driver's standings on 60 points, and once again is up there in the top 6 after another strong qualifying performance. So he is another driver not to be ruled out here. But if you forget about the top 2 in qualifying, Müller and Rast, it's pretty tight. Freins, Wittmann, Rockenfeller, van der Linde, Green and de Waal all covered by just over 0.2 of a second in the qualifying session this morning. But as Nico Müller says, it's all going to be about the long run pace here. The circuit is far kinder on tyres than we had with Assen last weekend, so expect the cars, if they want to be able to run longer on the tyres before pit stops, but it does open up the strategies, and there might even be a possibility of two-stop strategies for some who are willing to try something a little bit different. It's all about to unveil itself here as we look forward to the ninth race of the season. So we're here in the wonderful Eifel Mountain region. There is the Nürburgring Castle, which overlooks the circuit. The village only has 170 residents. We are near to Cologne, which can be seen, the spires of Cologne Cathedral, from the top of the castle, and the hills here, which are in the west of Germany. It's surrounded and steeped in motorsport history. The Nordschleife, of course, the world-famous Nordschleife, and you pass it on the way into the Grand Prix circuit, this version of the track, which was first built and developed in the 1980s, but has since developed and changed over the years to become the track. Now, we'll host the DTM for the first time, the circuit which runs just over 5 kilometres and gives us a real mix of tight corners, but some very, very quick turns as well. And lots of undulation here from the start-finish line to the Dunlop hairpin, which is down at turn 8. There's a 55-metre elevation change. There's a steep drop down into that first hairpin, and then you climb through the rest of the second sector and up through the very quick section, out through the Schumacher S's, the left-hander at the Ravenel curve, the Bilstein curve, right-hander, up through Ad van Bogen, which is taken flat out, all the way up the hill then to the final chicane, the Wiedel chicane, which is taken very hard on the brakes, and where a couple of drivers outbraked themselves yesterday in the free practice sessions. Some interesting facts and details that have come through about this circuit. DRS has a big advantage here when you use it 3 times in a lap. 0.4 of a second it can gain you. Here's the grid then. This is how they'll shape up. Nico Muller, the championship leader. René Rast, the defending champion, 3rd in the points. That's the front row. Robin Frein, 2nd in the championship, and Marco Wittmann, you've heard from them both. They'll be 3rd and 4th. Then it's Mike Rockefeller and Sheldon van der Linde sharing the 3rd row of the grid. Jamie Green, who needs to score points after a disappointing Assen, and Loic Duval are next, 7th and 8th. Then it's Philipp Eng and Lucas Auer, who celebrated his 26th birthday yesterday, to complete the top 10. Ferdinand Habsburg penalised 5 places. He qualified 6th, but he'll start 11th. Timo Glock for company. Harrison Newey starts 13th. Robert Kubica, who got his first points in the DTM last weekend, is 14th. Fabio Scherer 15th. And Jonathan Aberdeen disqualified after parc fermé conditions were breached to work on the car. That might have been related to the fact that he ran out wide on his push lap. Maybe some damage there. No details have come through, but either way, I'm afraid Jonathan having to start this one from the back of the field. They can see some of the undulation change and the downhill run that you get in the second half of the straight down towards what is one of the tightest first corners anywhere you will find in world motorsports. The right-hander at turn 1, the Yokohama S, where it really does come back on itself. It's actually quite wide on the exit, so you can run some different lines there, and if you stay out wide, you can maybe hold the outside line for the left-hander, which follows the first part of the Mercedes-Benz arena. There's a bump where you hit the brakes on the way into the turn, and when they're up to full speed, it's all about being the last of the late breakers, as Ferdinand Habsburg was saying to us yesterday after the free practice press conference. It's the hardest braking point there. Predominantly the other really hard braking point is up at the chicane, the penultimate set of corners through the Wiedel chicane. There's going to be some opportunities to overtake. Push to pass, which delivers an extra burst of 60 brake horsepower to push the cars up to 640 brake horsepower when it is deployed. That will give you another 0.2 of a second as well. They can see it's just over 23 degrees. The track temperature, as ever, warmer than that, 34, nearly 35 degrees. A very gentle breeze. So it's absolutely perfect conditions, really. The qualifying times this morning were much quicker than everybody managed to go yesterday, where certainly in free practice 1 the circuit was a lot less grippy than the drivers and the teams had anticipated. So the media and team bosses now asked to leave the grid. Race engineers just making the last preparations, making sure the cars are started up properly. They are the last to leave the grid, and that will leave us with just the drivers now to head off onto the formation lap. It is, as ever, going to be a 55-minute plus 1 lap race. It's going to be the 9th round of the season, and Nico Müller, the championship leader, is looking for his first win since the 3rd round of the season. He won the first 3, remember, both at Spa and the first race at the Lausitzring. He's been on the podium plenty of times since, but hasn't got a race victory since the 3rd round. A couple of seconds, couple of thirds. His worst results are 5th. And he's been bagging the championship points as well. You see Jonathan Aberdeen back in the pit lane. He's going to start the race from last position. Last year, Nico scored 10 points from qualifying positions. He's already scored 13 points, 13 additional points towards his championship tally, thanks to some great qualifying, 2 pole positions, several other top 3 starts as well. The best qualifier is still on average Robin Freins. He's picked up 19 points through qualifying this year. But Nico Müller has picked up 16 points. Nico Müller has already picked up. And René Rast, who picked up 35 points last year through qualifying, has picked up 13 points. It's his joint best Saturday qualifying, René Rast, of the season. His pole positions have come on a Sunday so far this year. He tends to get quicker on a Sunday, but he needs to find a couple of tenths of a second on single lap pace to match Müller. Worryingly for the rest of the field, in the long runs during free practice 1 and free practice 2 yesterday, Nico also looked mighty quick and was able to put in his best lap times towards the end of his long run session, which is where the tyres should be at their worst. So able to nurse the tyres, able to look after the car, and able to keep very consistent lap times, and that will give him more options, a wider window in which to come in and make his mandatory pit stop. As ever, 1 mandatory pit stop for everybody in the race. You can't pit for the first 5 laps of the race. After that, you're free to choose when you come in and make the stops. Change Hankook tyres. They're all on Hankook Ventus slick tyres. There's no refueling, just a tyre change for them. And very quick as well. When it gets to the pit stops, you'll be looking at the cars being stationary for between 6 and 7 seconds for a good pit stop, with 9 members of the team working on the cars. Well, 8 members of the team working on the cars. The 9th member of the crew is there as a tyre catcher, a wheel catcher, to stop any stray wheels headed down the pit lane. And the information that we've got is that with slowing down to come in to make your pit stop, having the pit stop itself and going back out, adhering to the 50 km/h speed pit lane speed limit, the total pit stop loss time around here, I reckon, is going to be something like 39 seconds. So that's worth bearing in mind when the front runners start to come in and make their stops. I saw just a few moments ago Dieter Gas, the head of Audi Motorsport, watching on. Jens Markart, the head of BMW, has been watching as well. BMW starting to fight back, but still lacking a bit of pace.
We are going to do a really slow approach.
So you're now here, the drivers being guided into their grid slots by their respective race engineers. Felix Fechner, the race engineer for Nico Müller.
2, 1, go, 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 stop. Perfect.
Got to be millimetre perfect to make sure the front of the car is not over that white line which marks the grid hatchings. Otherwise, you're out of position for the start of the race and can get a penalty as a result of that. The drivers need to be guided in from their vantage point within the cockpits. It's hard to see without the assistance from the pit wall. So Müller and Rast, the two that fought for the championship last year, the front row. Müller to the right, Rast in the 33 car to the left, Freins in the blue and yellow number 4 Audi, and Wittmann in the number 11 BMW. The red lights are on, and the 9th round of the DTM 2020 gets underway with a very, very good start for the Paul Sidder Müller. Rast is going to be second. Rockenfeller's made a good start as well. He's going to challenge for third here down the inside on the way into turn 1. He's halfway alongside Robin Freins. Freins fends him off though, and Rocky's got a slow exit from the turn. So Marco Wittmann is going to try and come back at him. So too Jamie Green. It's going to be Rockenfeller that holds on to 4th. Green now coming up the inside through into turn 3 to try and get ahead of Marco Wittmann. Can he do it? The British driver who was a race winner here last year in the 53 Audi, still on the outside of the lead BMW, forced out wide, and he might lose a position himself here now, I'm afraid. Jamie Green, it's going to cost him a place, I reckon, to Ferdinand Habsburg, who's made a good start after his grid penalty and started to find his way back up towards the top 6 in the number 62 machine. Sheldon van der Linde has just dropped back slightly from 6th on the grid, so he's involved in that scrap as well, but he might end up in around 8th place once it all sorts itself out. Down into the Dunlop hairpin then, and Jamie Green fights back down the inside. Sheldon van der Linden's going to try and follow him through. And then Habsburg is forced out wide. Two wheels in the gravel trap. Loic de Val is going to get a better exit, come alongside him on the way into the next left-hander. The first part of this fantastic sequence of corners, the Schumacher S's. And look at Timo Glock, he gets a far better run than both of them and just charges past number 16, bright yellow and purple BMW. So a real battle going on there in the midfield. Jonathan Aberdeen is starting to fight his way up the order as well. He's gained, what, 4 positions already for the back of the pack. Harrison Newey getting a bit wheel-to-wheel as well as we left the shop, but it's Muller that leads, Rast in second, Frines third, Rockefeller in fourth. A huge lock-up for Jamie Green on the way into the chicane. That one lost him, maybe not into the next corner, but on the start-finish straight, although Sheldon van der Linden's going to try and squeeze through. It's a brave move through a tight right-hander. He's not quite there yet, though, because Green has still got his nose in front on the outside. Best line coming up belongs to the South African. There's a right-hander coming up at turn 1. You're right with him now over the start-finish line. Who's going to get there first? Loic de Val trying to get in between them as well, using the DRS down into the first corner. De Val down the inside, but he's run wide. Green's lost 2 places. Van der Linden's gained 1 but lost 1. And you go on board now with Timo Glock, who's got the best seat in the house here, watching all this go on. He gets down the inside of Jamie Green. Out wide goes Sheldon van der Linde. Another position, I think, gained here for Timo. Yes, he has. He's gained 2 positions there at the start of this lap. So ferocious battling going on here, just outside the top 6. Top 10 all fighting for points here, all trying to muscle their way through. Lucas Howers on the tail of Jamie Green now as well. Jonathan Aberdeen, who had a good start to the race on that first lap. On board with Sheldon van der Linde down into the Dunlop curve, where Ferdinand Habsburg said there are about 6 different racing lines you can take through this right-hander. Hard on the brakes through there, but you look how the circuit rises up through the Schumacher S coming up next. So you've got to get a good exit from there. You'll see some wonderful onboard shots through that quick section of corners as well as the race goes on. Oh, somebody kicking up the dust in the background has gone out wide. They'll survive, possibly. Sharon right onto the tail of Robert Kubica, so maybe it was Kubica that took to the grass because he looked to have the slower exit there. But coming up now into the chicane at turn 14, Muller with a second advantage over Rast, Frines third, Rockefeller fourth, Wittmann in 5th place, Philippe Hayne with a good start in 6th, and it's on 2 about him. He's come through all the chaos to move himself up to 6th place, the Austrian driver. And then that huge battle that was going on that we were witnessing for 7th place, with de Val coming out on top for now in that position in the 28 car. Then Glock, then the Shell-backed BMW, the red, white and yellow of Assen race winner Sheldon van der Linde. A replay then, and what will this reveal? Ah, right, okay, so it was Jonathan Aberdeen that kicked the dust up, and it wasn't too bad. He just put half a wheel through the gravel trap, not as bad as he went through qualifying. And I think in the background, Harrison Newey was trying to gain a position as well. Ferdinand Habsburg, despite making a pretty decent start off the line, he's only in 13th place. He's actually gone backwards once it all settled down. Very much involved in that fight in the first lap of the race. So the gap just came down slightly on the previous lap between the top 2, with Rast now just over 0.8 of a second down on Nico Muller. But remember, race leader doesn't get the benefit of using push to pass button, which gives you another couple of tenths of a second around a lap. So René Rast starting to close the gap to the race leader. Here's a replay of the start. To the right, he pictures a wonderful start from the pole sitter. Habsburg made a good getaway as well. He's to the right in the black number 62 Audi. Watch him shoot out and try and find his way through. Rockefeller also with a very good start, to get straight up to 4th place. And he toyed with the idea of getting Robin Frines on the way into the first corner. Got halfway alongside him, but Frines always looked the favourite once they got towards the left-hander at turn 2, the first part of the Mercedes-Benz Arena section. Crowds in the grandstand got a great view of that first run of corners. Here's the rear-facing camera from René Rast. And looking at that battle between Rockefeller and Frines. Frines always had his nose in front, but it was pretty close. They gave each other just enough room. Sheldon van der Linde battling away with Loic de Val early on in the race. And you can see having to keep your eyes everywhere here. left, right, forwards, backwards in that pack that was ferociously battling over 7th place. Got crossed up, I think maybe got a tap there, didn't he, from behind. Timo Glock coming through. Gap's just opened up by a 10th on that previous lap, by the way. It's 0.9 of a second now. Last lap for the race leader, a 151.1, a 151.2 for Rast, but a 151.0 for Robin Freins. And you can see that the gap from 2nd to 3rd has started to fractionally decrease. On board now with the 3rd place car, Robin Freins. His 3rd season of the DTM now, a race winner and very much a key championship contender here. Looking to take some more points out of Nico Muller's lead, but Nico's looked like he's had the edge on everybody so far this weekend. Now at the Nürburgring, this Grand Prix version of the circuit in particular, he has looked very, very strong. Back on board now. Just a little twitch under acceleration. 4th gear, 5th gear, takes you over 200 kilometres an hour. And it's beginning to climb uphill now. Out of Ad Van Bogen up towards the Vidal chicane, hard on the brakes, and dropping down once again. Philippe Engels sticking with Marco Wittmann, the 2 lead BMWs running in 5th and 6th positions at the moment. So out of the final turn, at Hyundai N-Curva comes the race leader to complete another lap. 4 laps done, the gap stays at 0.9 of a second. Half a tenth quicker on that lap was René Rast, but it was marginal. And on that lap, actually, Robin Freins lost ground, 151.5. So he lost 4 tenths somewhere. Robin Freins having closed the gap on the previous lap. 151.1 for Rockefeller as well. And he's going to get in the mix as we've got there. Jonathan Aberdeen battling away and coming off 2nd best by the looks of it, with a battle that's going on with Jamie Green in the 53 car, and now looks to get a position back away from Lucas Auer. Maybe slipped back out of the top 10 now after looking very racy at the beginning. The man from Leicester, who has so frequently been a championship front runner in the DTM, but still looking for his maiden title. One of the key drivers in the all-time list of race starts. His 200th race start last time out at Assen in the DTM. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good one. There's a super slow-mo replay of him getting well out of shape through the chicane. You want to take curb through there to straight line it as much as you can, reduce steering angle, but that was too much curb, and that was where he wound up losing the position to Lucas Auer. And then Jonathan Aberdeen was trying to get in on the mix as well. And we just joined it initially when they were wheel to wheel, and Aberdeen was being sent out wide here. Green holding his line, holding tight and hanging on to the position. Strongest season coming in 2017 was 3rd, but he only just missed out on the title by a mere 6 points. He was very lucky to win the championship that year in particular. Jamie Green's finished 2nd of the championship in 2015 and 3rd as well back in 2012. Can he get himself back in the points? 3 races since he scored a championship point. 4, in fact, because he had a retirement at the Lasits as well, didn't he? So it's not been a frustrating year, as he said, so far. Now, Jonathan Aberdeen is coming to the pits on C from the commentary box window, so that's the first of the pit stoppers. Very early, at the earliest point at which you can come in. Well, you start at the back, you might as well try something different, but it could be, I suspect, a 2-stop strategy this, rather than trying to make the tyres last for 45 minutes. It's going to try something different here. Some laps free of traffic now as well.
Okay, watch out, white line, pit stop light on, so the stint will be long. Think about it.
Copy.
Jerome Warrior giving his man Jonathan Aberdeen some tips as he leaves the pits. We'll see if that strategy works out for Jonathan. He made a good start to the race anyway. He certainly got himself in the mix after a very good first lap. Aberdeen looks much quicker than his initial grid position would have had you believe as well. Just that he ran out wide on the 2nd sector, and it cost him the lap, and it cost him another chance because most of the drivers were getting 2 laps in at a time in qualifying, but he ruined the tyres by going off through the gravel. Right, Robin Freins just losing ground to the top 2, which sort of plays out to how it was in qualifying, really. The top 2 had the edge, and Freins and Rockenfeller were a few tenths adrift of them, but pretty evenly matched. So the gap from Rast in 2nd to Freins in 30, over a second and a half now. He's comfortably clear, though, of Mike Rockenfeller. Mike is one of several drivers that's going to be camped here for the foreseeable future at the Nürburgring, because we're here next weekend with the DTM cars on the sprint version of the circuit, and the weekend after that, the Nürburgring 24 Hours, in which Rocky has been a previous race winner. And quite a lot of the drivers are going to be out there. Sheldon van der Linde is going to be taking part, Jamie Green's going to be taking part in it. Muller, Fries are going to be involved in the 24-hour race. Muller's another previous winner of the Nürburgring 24 Hours, which of course is out on the Nordschleife. Jamie Green has opted to come into the pits as well, I can see from the commentary box window. So we'll see him shortly making, again, a very early pit stop. Battling performance on the first 2 laps, but came out second best. It didn't work out for him, so now he's going to try something different in terms of strategy. I suspect it's a swap of plan as well. So there is Jamie. The pit stop is going to be live. Rubber goes on, looks good.
Only one car has stopped so far, apart from you.
7.6 seconds. Now, of course, he was battling with Jonathan Aberdeen before this all happened, and he's going to come out with him. Cold tyres, though, will be difficult to manage on that Audi as he comes out of the pits for the first half lap or so. He's going to be ahead of Aberdeen, but Aberdeen's going to have his tyres up to temperature. Look how he understeers through the first turn here. It's like driving on ice. These 600 brake horsepower cars and not much grip until the tyres get up to temperature, and he might just have to concede the position. So Aberdeen becomes the leading pit stopper. Only these two have been in so far. Jamie Green will have to wait until his tyres get up to temperature. He's got 1 lap more life in them, if you like. But will they be able to go to the end of the race, or are they going to have a 2-stop strategy here? It's going to be a brave decision to do that when it takes 39-40 seconds to make a pit stop, all told. But I think in either case, they've not really got anything to lose. They might as well try something different. They're both out of the points already. So Muller leading. He's stretched now his advantage to 1.2 seconds. Crosses the line now in front of me with a 151.129. Rast is almost exactly matching it, 151.160. And Fried's 151.158. So 29 thousandths of a second between all 3 lap times. That's why it's staying relatively static. Rockenfeller in 4th place, 151.3, and then 5th and 6th. You've got the 2 BMWs of Wittmann and Ink. Not much of a gap between them. Loic de Waal looking under increasing threat, though, in 7th place from Timo Glock in the luminous yellow BMW. And you're about to ride on board with Timo now. One of the few drivers that has raced around this circuit back when he was a Formula 1 racer. The Borussia team. Here in 2011 when it was the German Grand Prix, this version of the circuit. So Timo closing the gap now. Spent some of his downtime last week back in his hometown with his family, but also did some karting. He loves going karting still. Big smile on his face when he was talking about that yesterday, saying you cannot beat 60 or 70 laps in a kart. And look at that, Timo Glock nearly getting his opportunity, because Loic de Waal had a lock-up, ran wide, but no way through yet for Timo. This pair making their way through. This is through the Dunlop hairpin, and that was the lock-up. Did well to recover it, actually, because it looked like he'd lost the position there. Timo got alongside, but the Frenchman was able to keep it going out of the turn. Definitely looks like Glock is the quicker of the two, and he won't want to lock up the tyres too much, Loic de Waal. Try to maintain the life in them if he possibly can. So lap times in the low 151s. Remember, we got into the 146s in qualifying. It's all about managing the tyres throughout the course of the race. Yes, you could go quicker, not at the start of the race because you've got a heavy fuel load, but it's about hitting a target time and giving yourself the best possible strategy in the long run. Is that Rocky coming into the pits? Yes, Mike Rockenfeller comes into the pits from 5th place. So Philip Eng will move up to
Stick to the plan.
Half a transmission, but that sounded very much like stick to the plan to me. So this is pre-planned. It's not a change of strategy.
Rock.
He was a bit unlucky last week. He got the slicks started to come to him in the race, the track drying up, and then the downpour towards the end.
So use DRS on the way out. We want to be pushing at the start. 23 laps to go. You will have clear track, 8 seconds.
Decent stop, 6.5 seconds. It is a much slower stop, though, for Robert Kubica. 12.5 seconds, according to the clock.
And you have 3 less DRS push to pass than Scherer, but more than all the guys in front of you.
So bits are about to come out. You can see Jonathan Aberdeen is still ahead of Jamie Green. Those two made their stops, but they'll both be well behind Mike Rockenfeller, who now becomes the leading pit stopper, even though it's going to take him a little while to get the tyres up to temperature, and they're nowhere near close enough to be able to attack him. But you'd expect that, really, because he was 5th and they were both outside the points before the pit window or the pit stop started to happen. Bit ragged there from René Rast in 2nd place, the 2-time champion, pushing on now to stay with Nico Müller. That was on the way out of the Bilstein curve up towards the Schiedol chicane, and now they go, and through the left-right flick, still climbing uphill into the final turn, the right-hand Hyundai end curve, which is pretty bumpy, and you have to make sure you keep the car balanced through there to be able to get on the accelerator as early as you can on the way down the start-finish straight. Duval, Glock and van der Linde follow up next. Here's a replay of Rast just going a little bit too wide. Just hit the curb a bit too hard and it threw the offside wheels into the gravel trap. Cost him a little bit of time, that, because Müller did a 151.4 and it was a 152.0 for Rast, so it cost him about half a second or so, that. So Nico Müller continuing to control the race. René Rast now nearly 2 seconds adrift. Fabio Scherer's come into the pits now as well. Fabio was one of the drivers that stayed on slick tyres when the rain started to come down. It transpired, and he went off and brought about the red flag at Assen last week. It transpired that he had some problems with his radio, so he wasn't getting messages from race control. The team is not allowed to use the radio other than in exceptional circumstances, and so he hadn't really got a feel for the fact that it was raining as hard as it was, which is why, part of the reason why he went off the road. He's quite critical of that afterwards. Fabio in search of his first DTM points. His pit stop is done. Jonathan Aberdeen the first of the pit stoppers on lap 5. Jamie Green on lap 6, and then Rockenfeller and Kubica came in 2 laps after that. Just had Fabio Scherer coming in. But all the front runners pitting as yet, going for fairly long first stints. The pace is starting to drop off a bit now, but not dramatically, to go back on board with Timo Glock, running in 7th place, trying to hang on, but failing to at the moment, to the tail of Loic Duval. Loic has edged away from him for the last few laps of the race. The next two to come into your shot, and they're both going to come into the pits together. So Duval and Glock from 6th and 7th into the pits now. Nose to tail, it becomes a race between the pit crews now. Sheldon van der Linde swoops around the outside of the final turn to temporarily at least move back up into the top.
Okay, Loic, race distance is 31 laps. You will be 2 seconds in front of Aberdeen. He has 4 laps older tires than you. We find against Glock, similar DRS than you. We go for scrubbed set of tires.
Now, did you see the message on screen? The graphic, Loic Duval is going to be under investigation for crossing the blend line, the white line at the entrance to the pits. Be careful on the way in and the way out of the pits to not cross that line. Right, stop. Glock's had a better stop. Duval's going to get out now. It's going to be wheel to wheel, but Glock's going to get his nose in front and gains the position effectively. So great work done by Team RMG to get Timo Glock out in front of Loic Duval. He was a couple of seconds behind him at the start of the lap on which they both came into the pits. Very gingerly through. Oh, double investigation for Duval now for an unsafe release. Well, this was on the way into the pits. Didn't take the same approach using the blend line as did Timo Glock, and this is for the unsafe release. Well, they're racing for position, and in fairness to Loic Duval, he saw Glock was there and he didn't get over feisty on the way out. I think he already knew the position had gone, but you can see why they're investigating the first one, that's for sure. The way into the pits, it was a very late decision or late call to get Loic in. Bit of a rant on the radio to the team when they on a drying track at Assen last week put wet tyres on the car after his mandatory pit stop, and he didn't agree with the decision. He made that quite clear, and you can see why at the time as Marco Wittmann comes in. It turned out to be the right decision because the rain did come again, and heavily so, with about 10 or 15 minutes of the race left to go, and he later had to apologise to the team. So they just felt it was the wrong decision at the time. Said it was a big mistake several times on the radio. Quite an animated radio transmission, but he's apologised. You can understand why in the heat of the moment he was getting frustrated, but he had has said, you know, I shouldn't have reacted like that. Right, no further action on Loic Duval for unsafe release. To me, that's not a surprise, but still waiting on the decision about the way he came into the pits, as Philipp Eng and Marco Wittmann side by side coming out of the pits, but it's Eng with his nose in front. And just in the background, Harrison Newey, who's made his way into the top 10 for now, into the pits as well. Right, so here is the race amongst the pit stoppers. Mike Rockenfeller is going to get there first, so he will remain the leading pit stopper. And of course, he's already got his tyres up to temperature. However, his tyres are going to go off sooner than theirs later in the race because he's done more laps than them on this second set of tyres. So then it will be Eng, then Wittmann, and then Timo Glock, fourth of the pit stoppers. And then it's going to be followed, I think, by Aberdeen and Green. Should be, yeah, still in that position, still in that order, and still running close together, those two. Been glued together in this race so far, Aberdeen and Green. So fairly tight between those. We've got just over 33 minutes plus 1 lap at the end remaining in the race. Nico Muller, a 151.6 last time around. It's looking tighter in the battle for second, though, isn't it? When you saw René Rast and Robin Freins, not exactly nose to tail, but much closer than they were before. But into the pits comes the race leader. So Nico Muller in for his mandatory stop. And Duval's going to get a pit stop penalty, a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line. That was on the way into the pits, oh dear, as we get René Rast now inheriting the lead of the race ahead of Robin Freins, but of course only because Muller has been in, and Robin Freins now wants the lead of the race all to himself. Down the inside he goes on the way into turn 1. The Yokohama S drifts out wide. René Rast fights back, still side by side on the way into the left-hander through Mercedes Arena, still side by side. Robin Freins makes sure he's on the track, and René Rast goes out wide.
Go. 18 laps to go. 18 laps to go. You have a good pace.
Decent but not spectacular stop from AB Sportsline of 7.7 seconds. Very good stop for Sheldon van der Linde and Team RBM. Under 7 seconds. So Muller comes out, as expected, well clear of Rockenfeller, who was running 5th before the pit stops, before he came in for his pit stop. And Sheldon van der Linde, he's going to emerge somewhere around, maybe just behind Aberdeen and Green. Comes out. We've got Marco Wittmann down the inside of Philipp Eng on the way to turn 1 to gain a place. Then Sheldon van der Linde on cold tyres. He's come out in front of Glock actually, but he might be losing a position or two as he gets his tyres up to temperature. And Marco Wittmann pretty forcefully getting through at turn 1 there. A determined move from the 2-time champion, the one which has paid off. Van der Linde ahead of fellow South African Jonathan Aberdeen just about for now, but still on cold tyres, still running out wide, still understeering. Jonathan Aberdeen is going to come with his nose in front, and he's going to be followed by Jamie Green, who wants another position here, tries to squeeze up the inside. Oh, that was tight. He tries to go at the inside now on the right-hander, and that was tight. And eventually has to stay where he is, right on the tail though, right underneath the rear wing of Jonathan Aberdeen. And Sheldon van der Linde has got Loic Duval for company now. Loic on more warmed up tyres as well. Through the Dunlop Carer they go, and into the pits has come René Rast. So Rast in now to make his pit stop. So his battle is going to be with Muller. And he get out in front or behind him. He was 2 seconds or so behind before Muller came in. So Robin Freins all on his own now in the lead of the race, but yet to make his pit stop, of course. Rast in. Needs a good stop from Team Rosberg here to get him in the mix. Certainly in the mix for a podium. Very, very close battle with Robin Freins. There's only one on each side, so it's including this one. Pretty good stop. Muller is going to come out in front, as you'd expect, and he'll grow that gap as well while Rennie gets the tyres up to temperature. Here comes Mike Rockenfeller though. He's going to sweep around the outside and effectively move up to second place for now, or third, once Robin Freins has made his pit stop, but he's ahead of René Rast. He's though going to have older tyres come the end of the race. And again, this is where he needs to make it count here, Mike Rockenfeller, so he gets into the mix here for a potential podium finish. Lucas Auer and Robin Freins, the only drivers not to be in the pits. The incident was looked at between Freins and Rast, but the stewards have decided it was just one racing driver being pretty firm but keeping his racing line, and the other one eventually having to back out by either hitting the brakes or going out wide, and it was out wide in the end for René Rast. And they were fighting through the Mercedes-Benz arena down into the Dunlop curve, and then they come with Wittmann absolutely flying away now, isn't he, from Philippe Hagen? He passed him on the start of the previous lap as the leader comes in, Robin Freins. So he was second, remember, before the pit stops started to happen. Muller had the lead, but he was battling away for second place. Pretty tight battle with René Rast. So expected to come out either just in front of or just behind René Rast. Coming one lap later, Jonathan Aberdeen and Loic Duval through next in the 27 and 28 cars respectively, the BMW and the Audi, making their way out through the right-hander at turn 6. Here's Robin Freins then with Team Lab Sportsline changing the tyres.
Go, 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 watch the white line.
Just about as good a stop as we've seen that, 6.5 seconds. So there's Muller, who's going to retain the lead of the race. Here comes Mike Rockenfeller, though, who is going to move up to second, effectively. Lucas Auer's coming to the pits now as well, and then it's going to be Rast. And Loic Duval's just gone past the commentary box window, side by side with Jonathan Aberdeen, so that's going to be a close one into turn 1. René Rast trying to draw back alongside Robin Freins now, and there's contact. There's no love lost between these two. Shoulders him out of the way. I've got my tyres up to temperature. This time I've got the racing line, and that was a little bit of, I think, retribution from René Rast. I don't think he was best pleased with the way Robin defended his position a few laps before they came into the pits, and that was René saying, well, if you're going to do it, I'm going to be a little bit rough and a little bit aggressive here too. Well, this time there was absolutely contact between them. At wide understeering on the cold tyres goes Freins. Rast has got the line, but he didn't give him loads of room once he got level, did he? Body language says it all there. They're fighting for second place, and they are fighting for championship points here. And they might be having a little chat with each other at the end of this race, I reckon. Of course, they're both going to have completely different points of view here. Racing drivers being racing drivers. About mental domination as well in this sport. On board with Robin Freins, losing ground, still getting the tyres up to temperature on that first lap, remember. Muller the leader, Rockenfeller in second, but he was the first of the lead group to come in. 5.4 seconds the difference between the top two. Rast ahead of you is third. You're on board with fourth. Robin Freins through the chicane. This low slug front splitter shot, this camera shot, fantastic. Marco Wittmann fifth, Philippe Hagen sixth. Glock, Duval, Aberdeen in ninth when he crossed the line, but Duval and Aberdeen were side by side when they passed the commentary box window. I think Duval is still ahead, just. So Nico Muller going his way very much at the moment. He is, as I say, had the edge all the way through the weekend. He's got to get the job done here, try and pick up his 4th win of the season. It'll be his 7th career victory in the DTM. And that means he'll have got more, if he gets the win, still 25, maybe 26 minutes plus a lap to go, but if he gets the win, it means that Nico Muller will have had more wins this season, this half season, than he had in the whole of his previous career. It's been some year. He really stepped up to the plate in the fight for the championship last year. It just went away from him in the last few rounds, last few meetings of the season, but he has learned from that. He's come back stronger and stronger, and in what is his 7th season of the DTM, Nico Muller has never looked better. He's driving beautifully this weekend. Class of the field for sure, but Mike Rockenfeller, Team Phoenix have put themselves in the mix here. That earlier pit stop, second place for Rocky, who loves this place, in particular the Nordschleifer. So previous winner of the 24-hour race a few seasons back, so too Nico Muller. The 2013 champion you are watching then. And the gap growing to just under 6 seconds as Muller goes into the chicane. Here comes Rockenfeller. But the others are going to start to come back at him as the race goes on, with fresher tyres at the end of the race. Rocky's had some good results so far this season in the 2020 championship. He runs in 7th place, he hasn't yet got a podium. Best results, 4th twice, once at Assen last weekend, went to the first race at Spa, then a couple of 5th place finishes as well. He's been racking up the points, but he'd really like this man, Marco Wittmann, who qualified 4th, is running 5th at the moment. And they're in 6th place, Philipp Eng in the blue BMW, under attack from Timo Glock, his brand mate. BMW is running 5th, 6th and 7th currently, 9th with Aberdeen and 10th with Van der Linde. Now, Philipp Eng looking like he's having to go a little bit defensive here to try and keep Timo Glock behind him. Timo, when it was very, very wet at the start of race 2 at Assen, looked superb in the soaking wet conditions, pulled off a couple of really nice moves. 5th in the championship, looking to have his best season so far in DTM. So 1 podium finish this year, that was 2nd place at the Lausitz-Ring around the Grand Prix version of the circuit. He finished just behind Lucas Auer, who led the race up until the final lap. Timo Glock not quite close enough to attack yet, making their way through the Schumacher S's then. Pretty spectacular from that camera angle from an onboard. They look scary, that sequence of corners. Onboard with René Rast then in 3rd place. Last lap time, 151.2, was 7/10 quicker than Mike Rockenfeller. And there you can see the gap has come down from 3.2 seconds to 2.8 seconds over the last 3 laps of the race. So there is Rast in the 33 car. Robin Frijns is even quicker, 1 minute 50.967. So 4th is catching 3rd, and they're both catching 2nd as it stands. The race leader is still flying, a 150.8 on the previous lap for Muller as he comes through. And 7.3 seconds now the advantage that he has over number 99, Mike Rockenfeller in 2nd place. He's been caught though on that lap again by René Rast. A 151.6 for Rocky, a 151.2 for Rast, and a 150.9 for Robin Frijns. It really is flying. Marco Wittmann also pushing on in the low 151. So too Philipp Eng, who's responded to that challenge from Timo Glock. Number 62 running through your shot. Ferdinand Habsburg in 12th place, Lucas Auer in 13th. But Lucas was the last driver to come into the pit, so he's maybe one to watch in the closing 10 minutes or so when everybody else's tyres really start to go off. He should have a bit more life in his, and will therefore be hopeful that he can still score some points in this race. 5-time DTM winner Lucas Auer, the Austrian driver, currently in 13th place. Behind him, Nui in 14th, Fabio Scherer. It was a pretty late stop as well in 15th. No, an early stop wasn't it? Fabio Scherer in 15th. Kubica also had a pretty early stop in 16th place. There is Robert Kubica at the pole, the Orland Team Arts squad. ART coming back into the DTM for the first time for a few seasons. Hugely successful international single-seater championship, have been, still are. They've run some great names in their time. Robert Kubica with huge support at the circuit and back home in Poland. Things continuing to go the right way for Robert. It's a very difficult championship in which to find your feet, particularly hard this year with the COVID situation, the late start to the season, the way the calendar has worked out for Robert. He's definitely starting to make some progress now. Might have had a 2nd points finish in race 2 at Assen, but afterwards he'd emerged that the team had put the wrong set of tyres on. They got a set of tyres set to a certain temperature, pressure, a lower pressure, which would have worked better as the track dried. But they put the wrong set of tyres on, and he found that the pace just went away from him. Otherwise, he reckons he might well have got into the points for a 2nd time at Assen. He's had that 10th place finish. We've got Philipp Eng still under close scrutiny from Timo Glock, not as close as he was a couple of laps ago. We're still keeping him honest here. Philipp Eng has shown good pace quite often on a Friday, but not been able to get the car underneath him on a Saturday, and a bit of head scratching has been going on as to why that has been. But Philipp Eng, we know, as a race-winning driver, is a very quick driver. Best result so far this year is actually the first race of the season for Philipp, where he got into 6th place at Spa. But he has more often than not been in the points. He's just been at the tail end of the top 10 most of the time. And he'd like to be pushing up towards podiums. So Philipp Eng, number 25, going well currently. A length or so clear of Philipp Eng, of Timo Glock rather, as they make their way out through the Dunlop hairpin. This is on board now through the Schumacher S's. Just a very gentle lift through the first part, up through the gears into 5th through the 2nd part. So you're about 220 kilometres an hour on the way into that sequence of corners, and 230 plus by the time you leave it. incredible change of direction on these cars, and the way the Hankook tyres stick to the ground. The mechanical and aero grip from these cars, absolutely phenomenal through that sequence of corners. Pretty tight angles to those corners as well, but they just stick to the road. Right, remember this man, Nico Müller. Yes, he's still in the race. He's just in a different race to everybody else. He's miles clear. He goes through. 19 minutes left on the clock exactly, and his gap grown now to 8.5 seconds. He's been a driver, as I said earlier, that's been able to look after his tyres as the longer runs have developed over the course of the practice sessions. So he's still quicker than everybody behind him. 151.086 for Müller, 151.4 for Rockenfeller. Not a bad lap at all. But a 150.9 for Rast. He's found a bit more pace now. He's got the gap from second to third down to 1.3 seconds. Robin Freins is still a bit quicker than René Rast in the number 4 car, 150.7. So they're both continuing to chip away at the advantage of Mike Rockenfeller. It's not going to be too long now before we have a three-way fight for second place. They're reeling in the 2013 champion. There you can see the gap from Rockenfeller to Rast has decreased from 2.4 to 1.3 seconds over the last 3 laps of the race. So he's averaging 0.3 of a second a lap quicker. But quicker than him still is Robin Freins. It's going to be a tremendous battle for what looks like being the runner-up spot here, because Nico Müller is so far clear, but motorsport is anything but predictable. So you don't exactly tick this off as a race victory until we're right there at the finish of the race. Nico Müller certainly won't, but he's doing everything right as it stands. Okay, we've got the Team Rosberg number 33 Audi of René Rast then, working hard to catch Mike Rockenfeller for Team Phoenix, but the Abt Sportsline Audi of Robin Freins catching him up as well. Into the final corner comes Nico Müller, and then the battle for second. And on the next lap, I think it's going to be pretty much game on between those three. Marco Wittmann will be absolutely hoping that Mike Rockenfeller can do him a favour here and defend that position for quite some time, because if he can, and if they start to get into a fight and hold each other up, it will not be long before the two-time champion Marco Wittmann is in the mix as well. He's just in the background in the green and white BMW. On the way to turn one then, and René Rast, who gets, of course, the benefit of having a target to outbrake, closes in on the number 99 Audi of Mike Rockenfeller, the Team Phoenix machine. They can both use DRS, they can both use push to pass. They're all scrapped this year about having to be within so much seconds of the car in front to be able to use your DRS. You can use it to defend and attack now. It's just the race leader that can't, which makes Nico Müller's performance even more impressive. He can't use push to pass, he can't use DRS while he's the race leader, and he's still pulling away from everybody else. 9 seconds clear now. It's a tremendous drive, it really is. Mike Rockenfeller then now knows he's got company on the brakes on the way into the Dunlop S's. Look at Marco Wittmann, late as he can on the brakes on the way into the hairpin, because he knows this is his chance to get in the mix here. Marco's not quite as quick as them in terms of pace, but he knows they'll easily hold each other up by 2-3 of a second a lap if they get into a fight, and then he can close in. Great view on board with Robin Freins then, as he makes his way through ever closer to the tail of René Rast. Just coming out now through Bilstein curve up towards Advenbogen. That's easy flat through the right-hander up to the top of the hill. Uphill braking zone on the way into the first part of the chicane. Nobody's going to make a move just yet. Rockenfeller keeps them at bay. Wittmann almost in the picture now, the BMW. It's going to be a grandstand finish, this, between 3-4 cars for the final positions on the podium. Second and third still up for grabs. 4 of them trying to get those 2 places. Here comes René Rast though, and Mike Rockenfeller has to go defensive. Rast, DRS deployed around the outside, and on the brakes, he's through. Rockenfeller made him work for it, closes the door and keeps Robin Freins behind. This is exactly what René Rast wants and needs. He needs Rockenfeller to delay the Dutchman now. Not sure it's going to happen though, because here comes Robin, gets a better exit from turn 2, down the inside into turn 3, and he's through into third. Rockenfeller down to fourth with more degraded tyres. Wittmann will be next to catch him, he's suspected in the not too distant future. So it's Müller in the lead, Rast in second, Freins third, Rockenfeller down to fourth, Wittmann fifth, Eng sixth, Glock seventh, Duval eighth, Van der Linde ninth, and Aberdeen into the points now from the back of the field in 10th. Replay of the move for Rene Rast to get into second place. He couldn't cut into the inside line because Mike Rockenfeller was still there. And it was a determined, opportunistic move from Robin Friends. He knew he couldn't afford to get stuck behind Rocky for half a lap or more. Otherwise, he'd have lost touch with Rene Rast. The driver is really battling for second place. Down the gears, on boards with Marco Wittmann now. Through turn 11, through the right-hander at turn 12, the Bilstein curve up. And this long uphill climb now, up towards the heavy braking zone at the Vidal chicane. He won't be close enough to attack Mike Rockenfeller yet, but I bet he will on the next lap. He's really reeling him in on the brakes, like he takes another length out of the number 99 Audi. He's almost with him now as they come up towards the end of the lap. And Robin Friends is almost with Rene Rast. He might be about to attack on the way into turn 1 here. He's got a decent run coming out of the final turn. Rene Rast a little bit more ragged. Rast just easing away through the first part of the straight. Friends will come back at him. No, I think he's going to be just a bit too far back. He'll close the gap, he'll show his nose, and then you've got Marco Wittmann down the inside of Rockenfeller. Good move, brakes late, brakes deep, but the BMW ahead. Rockenfeller tries to come back at him through turn 2. He might do, actually. He's trying to come back at him at turn 3. He's actually going to do this. Mike Rockenfeller using all of his guile, all of his experience here, but the right-hander will favour the BMW, and Marco Wittmann finally gets the place and gets the job done. Still, he's being harassed here by Mike Rockenfeller. Made life very hard for him, but Wittmann finally gets through. That's 4th place now for the leading BMW. His second best results of the season here. Mike Rockenfeller's still got work to do because not that far behind him. We've got Eng and Glock. They might come into the picture in the remaining minutes of the race as well. Right, Robin Friends still behind Rene Rast, but only just. Make their way into the Schumacher S's then. Through the left at 9, the right at turn 10. Here's a replay closer up of the move from Marco Wittmann. Last of the late breakers. Went so deep into the corner, but there's width there. And as I say, if you're on the outside, it gives you the inside line for the next turn. This was the viewpoint from Marco Wittmann's car. Rockenfeller almost close enough to sit on his lap as they went through the turn. But in the end, Wittmann got through. Rockenfeller hanging on to him, though, since that position change on the previous lap. Right, can Robin Friends get a bit closer? We really closed in here the previous lap on the way into the final turn. Rast, again, gets a slightly better exit. I think he's closer this time, though, Robin Friends, but again, not close enough. Rockenfeller close enough to have a go back at Marco Wittmann when they get into turn 1 in the braking zone there, possibly. But I think Wittmann's still there for now. Wait to see. Yes, he is. Rocky's very much hanging on to him. Using the lines and braking points of Wittmann now to try and keep his own hopes alive for finishing in the top 5 of this race. Eng and Glock still battling away. The BMW is running in 6th and 7th positions. They are 4.5 seconds clear of Loic Duval in 8th place, so I haven't got to worry about anything behind them for now. Van der Linde 9th, Aberdeen in 10th place, but remember, he was the first of the pit stoppers. Doesn't look like it's going to be a 2-stop strategy. It's a very, very long second stint for Jonathan, and how will his tyres go off at this phase of the race? It could possibly be a struggle for him to hang on to the top 10. It's working now. Ferdinand Habsburg is 11th. That's his closest rival for the point, and he's only 0.6 of a second behind him, and then just 0.3 behind the Habsburg car. You've got Lucas Auer, who's got the freshest tyres of anybody out there. There's Nico Mully, a race leader. 151.3 last time around. Half a second quicker than Rene Rast. And they're the only 2 drivers in the 151s, so Muller is just driving perfectly so far in this race. Just takes a little bit of the curb on the way into the chicane, less of the second set of curbs, just to reduce the steering input, keep the wheels as straight as you can, so that they are pointing forwards and getting you out of the corner as quickly as possible. Second and third, Rast and Friends through, and then Wittmann and the car you're looking at, Rockenfeller 4th and 5th. Rockenfeller doing well here, doing a good job. With Eng still a couple of seconds back, 2.5 seconds back on Rockenfeller. into turn 1. René Rast just keeping the Dutchman at bay. A couple of lengths advantage. It's all about the exit speed for the final turn. It's giving him that breathing room into turn 1 at the start of the next lap. Timo Glock coming through in 7th place, a 152.187. Just lost a few hundredths of a second to Philipp Eng on the previous lap. Robin Frijns is regrouping here and trying to come back at René Rast. Slightly fresher tyres on Robin's car, and he might make that pay. He's the last of the front runners to come in and make his stop in the number 4 car. But has he got the pace to close up, and is he going to be able to find a way past René Rast? The pair of them have pushed each other hard. They've both taken it in turns to shoulder the other one out of the way. They've both had their noses in front of this battle for second place. But it's Rast at the moment, with 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go, that has the position. It's not exactly nailed on this. They are, though, well clear now. Well, Wittmann in 4th and Rockenfeller in 5th. Nearly 4 seconds ahead of the next pair of cars. So it's a race, pure duel this between the two of them. They can't catch the leader. And I don't think there could be caught from anybody behind them. Here's the onboard view from Robin Frijns on the brakes, closing up to the tail of René Rast. Rides that first curve like Nico Müller, much harder than the second curve through the right-hand section of the chicane. Here it gets a bit bumpy, and look how close he gets every time on the way to that final turn. But he loses momentum coming out of the corner. He's quicker in, but he's slower out. And that gives René Rast just a couple of lengths breathing space. Frijns comes back at him at the end of the straight. He's too far back to have a lunge into turn 1. Well, he really is much quicker into the final turn. But you can't, well, you can get through there. We've seen it in the race. It's just very difficult to do so. Frijns getting more and more aggressive in showing his nose in the mirrors, trying different lines, trying to agitate René Rast, trying to put him off his stride. And René going out a little bit wide there as well. His tyres now maybe starting to suffer with just over 7 minutes of the race to go. Hard on the brakes they go, through the left at turn 5, through the right at turn 6, coming down through the kink at 7 and down towards turn 8 now, the Dunlop curve. Thomas Beermeyer, team principal of Abt Sportsline, who run the race leader Muller and run Robin Frijns in 3rd place. He got very close there to the right rear corner of the Audi of René Rast as they went through the hairpin. Rast's car is moving around that little bit more. Frijns' car looks a little bit more planted at this phase of the race. Robin working his socks off here, but so too is René Rast to keep and maintain the position. Every point counts in this championship. And this is effectively a 6-pointer, as you might say in football, because at the moment, for 2nd place, it's going to be 18 points for Rast. For 3rd place, it's going to be 15 points for Frijns. Remember, they're 2nd and 3rd in the championship. Frijns just ahead of Rast in the points table. So you lose the place, you lose 3 points, and you give 3 more points to your closest rival in the championship table as well. They're both going to lose out, though, to Nico Müller. It looks like he's going to extend his advantage. As it stands, by another 10 points, because Frijns is his closest rival. 25 points for Müller, and it'll be 15 for Frijns. But here comes Robin Frijns down the inside, throws it over the curbs. He's going to spin! Spins from 2nd place, briefly in 2nd. And that was very, very late on the brakes. Wittmann's going to get past him. Rockenfeller's going to get past him. And I think we'll join just in front of Philipp Eng. But it was a brave move, head in hands for Thomas Beermeyer. Just tried it, but he was a long way back, Robin Frijns. I mean, it's so easy for me to say. I'm not a racing driver. I'm not galloping along at 270, 80 kilometres an hour. And I don't have a split second to make the decision. But in hindsight, it was a bold attempt, but one which didn't quite pay off. The car was airborne, 3 wheels off the ground. He clattered into the curbs. He was so late, trying to take the element of surprise. And the car was unsettled, unbalanced. The back end went out, foot buried on the throttle to keep it in. René Rast did a good job of avoiding the spinning Robin Frijns car, and that has probably cost him any chance of finishing in 2nd place. Here's the view from René Rast. We'll get out of the way. There's a Flying Dutchman coming through. God, if he'd pulled it off, it would have been a wonderful move, but it it was less than 50-50 that was going to work, I would say. Again, in hindsight, and again, I'm not going to be critical of that because, well, you want to see racing drivers going for it. It'd be boring otherwise, wouldn't it? And it's not just about being safe, it's about going for your opportunities. A bit of bodywork flying off the car as well as he landed. Nosed in, down it comes. Back end lifts up on the bounce, and that's where it starts to just skittle away from him. He's gone in so tight that he's having to turn the wheel so sharply, and he's turning out of the corner there to try and save the spin. Natural reaction to do that, but back end had already gone by that point. So that puts Marco Wittmann up into a podium paying position up to 3rd place. Rockefeller 4th, Freins there in 5th, and 6th. Just behind him, Philippe Enge's pulled away now from Timo Glock in 7th. Duval is 8th. Van der Linde is 9th. Aberdeen is 10th. Aberdeen is keeping Ferdinand Habsburg at bay, 0.7 of a second. He's actually grown the gap. And Lucas Auer can't get any closer to them either. Jamie Green, who had a very early stop as well, is 13th. Harrison Newey 14th. Fabio Scherer in 15th. And show not yet coming through on the lap is Robert Kubica, but down in 16th place. Any time then for Robin Freins to be able to get something in terms of a recovery out of this. 3 minutes left on the clock plus 1 lap, so not much time. You got a flat spot of the tyres, you reckon, as well with that, and it's not going to make the car handle any better for the closing laps of the race. In fact, if anything, he's coming under more pressure from Philippe Eng in 6th place. He'll be kicking himself at the end of the race, but if you don't go for the move, you never get through, you never overtake, you never score the points you could. As I say, if it had come off, it would have been a wonderful move. So brave on the brakes. And it was an opportunity, but unfortunately just didn't quite pay off for Robin. Right, Nico Müller just having a nice Saturday afternoon drive here. Free of all drama, free of all trouble, all pressure. He continues to march on. He's almost got the entire start-finish straight. Advantage over René Rast in 2nd place now. Marco Wittmann trying hard still, but I'm not sure if he's going to close up to René in the closing laps. With 2 minutes to go. The battle really is between Robin Freins, who's on the back foot now, and Philippe Eng, who's looking to try and get his best result of the season so far. He's matching it at the moment with 6. Can he get into 5th place? Can he get ahead of Robin? Closes up under braking on the way into turn 1, but loses a little bit on the exit and through turn 2. There's Nico Müller, your race leader. Driver's eye perspective now. The number 51 Audi makes its way through turn 7, this sharp descent down towards turn 8 at the hairpin of the Dunlop curve. Where's everybody else gone? You can't even see them in the mirrors anymore. He's that far clear. Rast in 2nd. When you've got this sort of form all weekend long, it just looks like one of those weekends where everything's clicking for a driver. And it's no surprise that he's this far in front, really. Just how quick he's been in all the previous sessions. To take advantage of this. These weekends don't come along very often in DTM, in any kind of motorsport, where it's just clicking, everything's going your way. So Nico will not only be thinking 1 race win this weekend, he'll be thinking 2, because he's got that sort of pace advantage over everybody else at the moment. But they'll be looking at the data, they'll be going through it, they'll be trying to close the gap to him tomorrow. It won't necessarily be a repeat of this on day 2, although Nico Müller will very much hope it is. It's nearly 14 seconds clear now, romping it. Less than a minute left on the clock. So Nico Müller about to go through now. So we'll get 1 more lap before the last lap board. So 2 laps to go. Time will run out on this lap, and it's plus 1 lap at the end of 55. So 2 to go. He has now got the full start-finish straight over René Rast. René is 2.5 seconds clear of Marco Wittmann in 3rd place. And then Rockefeller in 4th, looking solid. Freins in 5th, still keeping Philippe Eng behind him, but not by very much here. BMW Times closes up under braking. Timo Glock's coming under fire from Loic Duval in the background to the picture. And they're side by side through turn 1. Timo Glock hanging on to the place for now, but Loic Duval got fully alongside him on the way into turn 1, tries to do so into turn 2. Remember, Loic is 4th in the championship, so he needs as many points as he can. Shows his nose. Timo Glock Glock stays ahead, gives him a little love tap on the way to the next turn. They go left, they go right. The Frenchman all over the German here. Drifting out a little bit wide is the BMW. The Audi now coming back at him. Loic Duval, the quicker of the two, tries to squeeze down the inside into the left-hander. That would have been a move. That's not much room through there at all. Into turn 5. Through turn 6, he has to back off the gas and has to regroup when they get down to the hairpin. Sheldon van der Linde in the background trying to catch them up. He's in 9th place. Jonathan Aberdeen is 10th and looking more comfortable in 10th. He's 1 second clear now of the next car, which is now Lucas Auer, who's up to 11th place. Finally found a way past Ferdinand Habsburg. So can Lucas get himself into the points and get ahead of Jonathan Aberdeen, who's done well here on such a long second run on that second set of tyres. Here comes Nico Müller, untroubled, smooth as you like, the championship leader, about to grow his advantage in the DTM. Gets the last lap board, goes through, heads towards turn 1. Just 5 kilometres or so to go between him and a 4th victory of the season. Philippe Eng a little bit closer this time as they come out of the chicane in the number 25 BMW to the number 4 Audi of Robin Freins. Might just have a chance here on the final lap of getting himself up to 5th place. He's definitely closer than he was. Comes past the commentary box window, over the start-finish line, over the crest now, beginning to drop downhill into turn 1, shows his nose. He's about as far back as Robin Freins was when he launched the attack. A 10-second penalty now, though, for Loic Duval. It's been increased from 5 to 10. So even if he gets ahead of Timo Glock, he's going to have the time added on, which is going to put him back either way, lower down the top 10. 10 seconds onto his time would put him behind van der Linde as well, but still in front of Auer, who's come through in 10th place now. So Lucas Auer, from being a second behind Jonathan Aberdeen, has come through into the points, into 10th place. Jonathan clearly struggling with old tyres now. Looked like he might just do it, but with a lap to go, he's dropped out of the points, I'm afraid, and Lucas Auer has moved into 10th position. So it is Nico Müller on the final lap of the race here, the first race of the weekend here at the Nürburgring. It's the 9th race of the season, and after this, we are halfway through the championship, and halfway through the championship, the points leader is going to be Nico Müller. Serenely makes his way up to the top of the hill now, in a world of his own, through the chicane one more time. Nico Müller, utterly dominant here at the Nürburgring. Takes one more turn of the wheel, the checkered flag awaits, and Nico Müller wins round 9 of the championship. Over the line he goes, fantastic.
Perfect drive, Nico. Perfect drive, awesome job the whole day and the whole weekend so far.
You could say that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. What a great race. Thank you very much. Car was awesome. Thank you, thank you.
Relaxed.
So ILS off, save fuel and collect pickup. Please collect pickup.
Relaxed and calm, wasn't he? Because he expected it. He expected that victory. Expected nothing less, deservedly so. Müller wins, Rast second. 15.6 seconds was the gap at the end of the race. You wonder if Müller might have been able to push more if he needed to as well. No DRS, no push to pass available for most of that race, and he wins by 15.5 seconds. Müller wins, Rast second. Marco Wittmann gets his second podium of the year in 3rd place. Mike Rockenfeller 4th. Robin Freins crosses the line in 5th. He'll be gutted. 6th place, Philippe Eng. 7th, Timo Glock. In 8th place, Sheldon van der Linde, because of the 10-second penalty added on to Loic Duval's time. He drops to 9th. Lucas Auer in 10th. Jonathan Aberdeen, who almost got a point out of that, fell away in the end to 11th place. Habsburg 12th, Green 13th. Newy's crossed the line 14th, Sierra 15th, and Robert Kubica has just crossed the line in front of me for 16th place. So Nico Müller, absolute class of the field there, no doubting it once he got through the first lap, really. Everybody else battling behind, and once he got the car off the line well, which he did, once he got through turn 1 with his nose in front, which he did, it always looked like it was going to be hard to stop the Swiss driver. It's his 4th win of the season. It's also his 8th podium finish out of 9 now in 2020. Yeah, confirmation of the results. Müller, Rast and Wittmann the top 3. Rockenfeller in 4th, Freins 5th, Eng in 6th, Glock 7th, van der Linde 8th, Duval dropping to 9th with the doubling of his penalty from 5 to 10 seconds. Lucas Aaron the points, and then Aberdeen, Habsburg and Green 11th, 12th and 13th. Newey, Scherer and Kubica rounding out the results, and all the cars finishing the race. Everybody home at the end of that one. A replay of the moment that Nico Müller comes home to take his 7th career victory in the DTM, and the team holding out the Swiss national flag to their man. And celebrations from them as well at Team Ab Sportsline, because this is not just an individual sport, it is a team sport. Without their hard work, their expertise, their attention to detail, then Nico Müller can't win a race. He's got to have the car working beautifully, and it was. First time he's been on the grass this weekend, back on the way into the pits. And Nico Müller coming home, not quite making it onto the podium. Mike Rockenfeller has to go straight on, but it's another good 4th place finish for Rocky, and his strategy worked out for him, moving up from his grid position, and more good points for Rockenfeller. So make sure you push all the right buttons, all the right shutting down process before you get out of the car and celebrate. Nice to see Marco Wittmann back in the top 3 enclosure as well. Got a 3rd place finish in round 4 at the Lausitzring, and he's back on the podium, extracting the most out of that, really. That good move to get ahead of Philipp Eng as well. The kiss of the roof of the car that has taken him to victory, and a release of emotion. It's a meaningful win, that. It's not just a victory, it's the manner in which he's taken the race victory and sent a real signal out to his championship rivals. Another 25 points in the bag, and of course his closest rival, Robin Freins, threw away the opportunity to get onto the podium. So in the end, he's going to walk away only with 10 points. So 15 points more for Nico Müller. He stretched the championship lead from 28 points to 43 points by my maths. René Rast securing 18 points for 2nd. He's also going to close 8 points to Robin Freins' advantage. He'll stay 3rd in the points, but he'll be much, much closer now to Robin in the table after a solid 2nd place finish. There, the flags ready then. The Swiss national flag and the Swiss national anthem are going to be held and played respectively for the 4th time this season for Nico Müller. His first win since becoming a new father, and I'm sure that that trophy is going right to the top of the shelf. The way in which he won it, and the fact that he's won it now as a new dad with his new son Finn, just a few weeks old. Got a couple of podiums, his first time since becoming a father, last time out at Assen, but that's the first victory, and a terrific victory. There's not been many more dominant wins in the DTM than that, has there? You couldn't fault anything about that drive from Nico Müller. He was gone in the distance, almost unstoppable it seems. The national anthem now for Nico Müller. It's coming up soon. First, he's got to get the flag, as he traditionally does when he gets onto the podium. Bring them up in reverse order. There'll also be a trophy for the winning team, which once again, extending their lead in the top of the points in the team standings, is going to be Team Ab Sportsline. But it is a well-deserved 3rd place trophy first up to go. For the 2nd time this season to Marco Wittmann. Well done to him from Team RMG. BMW on the podium again. 2nd place goes to René Rast. That'll be his 4th podium finish of the year. It's his first podium though for 4 races, so just what he needed after a slightly disappointing weekend by his very high standards at Assen. Well done to him and to Team Rosberg. Very well done to Team Ab Sportsline, who have picked up another win. And again, dominating in terms of points scored. So Team Ab Sportsline, Thomas Biermeier's team, will pick up the winning team's trophy, but the winning driver, Swiss national flag at the ready. For the 4th time this season, extending his championship lead, is Nico Müller. He holds aloft the trophy, gives it a quick kiss first, face mask or not. He'll put it down, and he'll now stand proud as we get the Swiss national anthem. The Swiss national anthem plays on the tannoys. The crowd applauds from the grandstands, the limited capacity crowd that we got this weekend. And it's Nico Müller with the flag now wrapped around him that poses for the photo. Clenched fist, trophy in the other hand, and champagne at the ready. He's very stylish the way he opens the champagne. Watch this, single hand, bangs it down, brilliant. He's already got splattered though, already been covered by the others' champagne. It's a terrific victory. We've got news as well of a penalty for Lucas Auer, a time penalty of 4 seconds for leaving the track to gain an advantage, and that means Jonathan Aberdeen has got back into the top 10. He's got a championship point after all for that race. So Aberdeen promoted back to 10th, Habsburg promoted to 11th, and Lucas Auer didn't see the move, but it was suggested to have been illegal, and therefore Auer has dropped out of the points down to 12th place. So that's the standings. Nico Müller onto 192 points now, 43 clear of Robin Freins, who's only 9 clear now of René Rast in third. It's looking like it's been between those three. Loic de Waal a long way back now, fourth on 73 points. Timo Glock 68 points, fifth. Sheldon van der Linde stays sixth on 64, but Mike Rockenfeller has matched him in terms of points now. He's also got 64 points. Beautiful view of the surrounding Eifel Mountains here in Germany. And this was the moment, really, that Nico Müller made it all sorted out with a beautiful start off the line to get ahead of René Rast. Robin Freins dropping behind Rast and also having to work out how to fend off Mike Rockenfeller through that first corner. He made a very good start to the race. So once he got to the first corner first, odds on, the pace that he had was Nico Müller, who was already on course for a victory. But you never know with motorsport. He still had to get the job done. Nico Müller then, a terrific drive, and we can hear from him now, down with Verena Riet.
Well, this man really did do a perfect race. Nico Müller, it was completely flawless. You were in a world of your own. How does it feel? Another victory.
Yeah, amazing. I think, yeah, no complaints about anything today. It really went, you know, it's one of those days where what we were aiming for since a long time, where everything kind of comes into the flow. I've always complained the last few weekends that some little things didn't go in our way. Today, everything went our way, and just a great day. The car felt mega. Team did a good pit stop again. Strategy was the right one. I could manage my tires throughout the whole second stint, which was a long one, but still managed to keep the lap times competitive, and yeah, led every lap. So what else you want to wish for? Really, really great day, and very thankful to Audi and the team.
And I guess the more you're looking forward to tomorrow now, hopefully that'll be a perfect day too.
Definitely, yeah. I can't wait, and let's try again.
All right, thank you so much, Nico. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena, and very well done to Nico Müller. It's not only his 7th win, it's his 27th podium in the DTM now, as the Nürburgring Castle is about 640 metres high now. It's the second highest hill in the mountains, and as I say, on a clear day, from the top of that middle-aged castle, which dates back to the 11th century, you can see as far as the spires of Cologne Cathedral, which are 70-odd kilometres out in the distance. It was a good day for René Rast. He might not have got the victory, but he has closed the gap in the points to Robin Freins, and we can hear from him now.
And here's René Rast with a really good P2. The moment when Robin Freins attacked you, and I mean, he was going airborne, that was pretty close, and you did a great job avoiding it. How does it feel, P2?
Yeah, obviously not 100% happy, but still, I mean, it's the second place. Nico was in different level today. He was all weekend very strong, so head off for his performance. So he did a very awesome job. The fight with Robin was intense. He was quicker behind me. He tried to pass me in turn one, and I think he overshot a bit. He was a bit too late on the brakes and spun by himself. It can happen in a fight, but yeah, in the end we just maximized our performance, which was P2 today.
You're the third in the championship, but the gap is closing, so it's only halftime now. Anything is possible from here, right?
Yes, Jain. I mean, Nico is awesome, strong today this year. He's probably over 50 points ahead. I'm closing maybe to Robin, but also Robin is amazingly strong this year. So it's going to be tough to catch up to them, but we try everything.
And we're looking forward to great fights. Thank you very much, René. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. He's not only a fantastic driver, René Rast, but he's a true gentleman as well. I mean, he gets his elbows out on the racetrack, but he's always magnanimous in defeats, and really giving a lot of credit there to Nico Müller and saying how well he's driving, and also not being overcritical of the move from Robin Freins. Marco Wittmann then coming home in third place, another podium for the German driver, and we'll hear from him now, down with Verena.
Indeed, it's his second podium this year. Marco Wittmann, fantastic job. Obviously a little bit lucky in the end because Robin Freins kind of overtook, or he didn't manage the maneuver as well. You grabbed the chance, and now you've got a fantastic P3. How does it feel?
Yeah, definitely great. I mean, it was all in all quite a good race, you know. I think from our own potential we were able to score fourth place. Then, as you said, at the end got a bit lucky with the spin of Robin where we actually catched up P3. Clearly feels nice to be on the podium, especially knowing, you know, under normal conditions for us, it's very, very tricky really to achieve more, you know. So actually this is the maximum we could deliver today. So I'm pretty happy with it. I have to say the whole yesterday went pretty smooth, pretty well for us. And I mean, scoring some good points is a good result, is a good achievement. Of course, our aim is something different, but I mean, as the season went so far for us, it's super difficult at the end.
But tomorrow's another day, another race, so hopefully you can, maybe aim at the podium, get on the podium again?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, as I said, the weekend so far went pretty well. Let's hope for a good day tomorrow again. I think the pace is there to achieve something similar, so this will be clearly our aim.
And in regards to the weather, I mean, it's going to be similar tomorrow, I think, warm as well. How tough is it out there on the track?
It's okay, I have to say. I mean, also tire managing went pretty well in the race. That was not such a big issue as Assen or Spa, for example. So it was all fine. Yeah, pretty happy with it.
All right, well, best of luck for tomorrow then. Thank you very much, Marco Wittmann. And that was it here for today. Of course, tomorrow we've got another qualifying and another race coming up. And now enjoy the highlights and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
He didn't give me any space on the outside, man.